Good afternoon, everyone, and really appreciate tremendously everyone who has taken the time to come out, members of our faculty and staff, as well, of course, our so many students, to be able to take part in the Haskara for our beloved Eitan Force, a beloved son and brother and grandson, a nephew, and here at Weber, our friend and our student and our teammate. And we come together today on his Yartzeit, which is the first anniversary of his passing, albeit on the Jewish calendar. And had two questions during the past few days. One is, what is a Haskara? It literally means a memorial, remembering, a remembrance. And it's done on a Yartzeit, which comes from the a similar Hebrew root. But the notion is to remember. And on one hand, that remembrance is to reflect on the power and the legacy of someone's life, but also to note how strong their soul can and does remain amongst us when we engage in a ceremony of this sort. And this particular ceremony is going to be centered around a few relatively brief items, but we hope which are meaningful and important for all of us. In a moment, as Rabbi Meir was just speaking about, he's going to lead a brief mincha afternoon service, primarily in Hebrew. And before closing the service, the primary part of the Haskara, of this remembrance and this reflection on Eitan's life, and his impact on all of us. Per Jewish custom, we're taught to teach someone's personal Torah. That is, to be able to reflect and say, what did they teach and offer to us that made an impact on our lives? So all of us who knew Eitan and had different important relationships with him we'll be reflecting on that, and at that moment, we asked Ronnie Granith, not only as our student council president, but as a close friend of Eitan's for many years growing up, including here at Weber, a teammate on the football team, and to be able to lead that portion of the program. He'll be inviting two of Eitan's teammates and friends as well as distinguished member of our faculty who've known Eitan long and well, to be able to offer some reflections on that question, and that is about what they remember and know and feel to this day as Eitan's personal Torah, the teaching that impacted them, and in doing so can impact all of us. The one last question they received is, why is this happening today? And given that his passing on the general calendar was on September 21st. The Hebrew calendar is a lunar calendar and does not line up, therefore, in general, only every few years with the calendar that we utilize in the larger world. And so that is why, given that there are a number of different dates that are meaningful, we're going to be observing through Jewish custom today the Haskara, noting Eitan's Yartzeit. And then with gratitude to Coach Humphrey and the athletic team and Ms. McCullough and a whole team of people who've been working together in different ways, that on September 21st, there'll be, and you'll be getting more information about this, a celebration of Eitan's life through a second annual Red Out. And that'll be happening, I guess that'd be a week from Thursday, if I'm correct. We'll get more information about that later on. But some people were asking regarding the difference in the calendaring, and that's in following Jewish custom in the Jewish calendar. So really, with that plan in mind today, we're going to ask Rabbi Meir to come forward. He's going to lead us in the Mincha service. If anyone did not receive a copy of this text, which has the Mincha service on it, please raise your hand, and once Rabbi Meir starts, a few of us will be happy to come around and to deliver one to you. Before starting, though, I'd be remiss if I also didn't, not only in addition to welcoming everyone who's here in the room, knowing that we have many friends and members of our broader Weber family and the Force family who are joining in through a live stream, and or will be watching this through a recording that we're going to distribute afterwards. And I have to give a special recognition and appreciation to the class of 2023, of which Eitan was a graduate, and many of his classmates now in college and in other work they're doing in the world, including those in Eretz Yisrael on experiencing a gap year, who are joining, I know, by live stream as we speak, and or by watching and recording later on. Given the multiple time zones in which our graduates live throughout North America, the world, and in Israel. So we give a special welcome to you and feel your presence, albeit with that distance, along with us here in our new theater. So Rabbi Meir, if you come forward, and if anyone is missing and would like a copy of the text, I'll make sure to, we'll deliver it around to you within just a few minutes. And we'll look forward to the afternoon.
And we begin on page 1. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yehallelu Chasela Ashrei Am Shekacha Lo Ashrei Am Shadunai Elohav Zilal David Aromim Chal V'Melech Shimcha V'Eid V'Cho Yom תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו, יברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד, ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה. Please rise.
To the bottom of the first page of Chatzikadeh.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בהגדה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ועלמה ואמרו אמן.
We'll be doing a hefty Kedusha, which is on the very next page. You'll see a little 170 at the bottom of it, and Rabbi Meir is going to lead us in the davening all together through the Kedusha at the bottom of page 170, and then we can continue on with the, if we choose to, with the Hebrew text on the third page, or as Rabbi Meir mentioned a few moments ago, with the reflections in our own heart.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו, ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
You can all be seated, and it's really my pleasure to invite up Ronnie Granith to lead this portion of the program on reflections on Eitan and his personal Torah and what he has taught and given all of us.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming here in support. So, as Rabbi Hartz was saying earlier, a traditional Haskara service in remembrance of a lost one has two parts. What we just did, the religious part, praying, connecting with God, and we have the second part in which we discuss the person, their life, the stories we have learned from them, and their personal Torah. There's two things I'd like to focus on. There's what did we learn from that person with them, right? How did they help change us? And now that they're not here with us, what do we learn, right? Without that person there helping us and guiding us, how can we grow as individuals and further appreciate them and their presence in our lives? So that being said, I'd like to call upon Dean Dubovsky to share some memories.
Good afternoon. I'm humbled and honored to stand here today sharing about Eitan and the impact he had on me. It is hard to believe it's been a year since his passing. Eitan was a force in more ways than one. We met last fall when I was a freshman on the flag football team. We both played cornerback and quickly bonded. Eitan, along with Dov Carlin, took me under his wing and treated me like a younger brother. Whether school-related or just life in general, he was always there for me. He was a role model who showed me the power of kindness, friendship, and sportsmanship, not only to his teammates, but to his opponents as well. Eitan hated losing. He was passionate and competitive. He gave 110% during every practice and game, and was always the first to pick up a teammate if they fell, or bring them up if they made a mistake. Along with his competitive side, Eitan would always find time to joke around and laugh. Although sometimes making us run, it was worth it, especially when Eitan and a few other seniors decided to sit in the booth and listen to music in the middle of practice. During practices, I would always run to play corner before him, and Eitan would always yell at me in a joking way, "Get off the field, freshman. That's my spot. You'll have your turn when I graduate." His pep talks in our huddles always hyped up the team and encouraged us if we were losing. If you're on the team last year, you know what I'm talking about. I cherish these memories I have of Eitan. LLEF has become a personal motto of mine. Live like Eitan Force. It serves as a daily reminder to be for the kind of person I hope to be. This tragedy taught me how precious life is. We need to remember to live in the moment and be grateful for every day. In the short amount of time that I got to know Eitan, the impact he left on me is lifelong. Thank you for your time, and LLEF, live like Eitan Force. And now I'd like to call up Mason Toporek.
I hope you all are having a nice day, and thank you for letting me speak in front of you all today. As we near the one-year anniversary of Eitan's passing, I just wanted to say a few things about him as a friend, teammate, but most importantly, a person. I got to know Eitan as my teammate in flag football. He was super intense out on the field, and he really gave it his all, and as Dean said, he did not like to lose. I also got to know Eitan because he was dating my sister Leah, and I got to know him outside of school. The way that I'm going to remember him was as someone that lived life to its fullest. He really tried to win, but he was also full of jokes, and he didn't let anyone or anybody change him as a person. I think it's amazing how many people he touched in such a short time with us. I remember my sister creating the March Madness pool last spring, thinking only her friends would donate and it would maybe raise $2,500. It ended up raising over $30,000 for Save a Child's Heart, which was enough for them to perform not one, but 2 life-saving heart surgeries for children. This is just an example of the lasting impact Eitan had on so many people and can continue to have onto others in the future. Soon, we will see his name on the outside of the new athletic complex. When I see it, it's going to remind me to live like Eitan. Play hard and try to win, but at the same time, have fun and live life to its fullest. May his memory inspire us to live that way, and may we always, always be a force for good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dean and Mason. After hearing the perspective from some peers, I'd like to call upon Maura Parmet to come share what it was like to teach Eitan.
We are blessed to have known Eitan. I am blessed to have known Eitan. We were blessed to be his teachers, his friends, his teammates, his classmates. We adored him. I adored him. He was that kind of a young man. Eitan is very present to me. In the elementary school photos in my classroom, his silhouette on the Hebrew karaoke album cover in the second floor hall, the Chanukiah that he made when we were together in 5th grade. He was so surprised to see it again when we returned and were reunited at Weber. He's present in so many places around us. But more than in the physical items, he's present within us. He's present within me, who he was, his character. I love that I got to know Eitan for so many years. It was an unexpected joy to teach students like Eitan, whom I taught in elementary school and again in high school. Teaching students in that way over many years really shows that we all seem to have at our core a certain character, a certain temperament. There is a maturity that comes with the years, but at the core, we can still see who they were when they were little. Eitan, at his core, was sweet, smart, kind, cheerful, open, and confident. One of the unique things about Eitan is that with maturity and the self-consciousness that being a teenager can bring, Eitan remained sweet, kind, smart, cheerful, open, confident, and comfortable. Eitan was comfortable and not afraid to be fully himself. That is a gift from which those around him were able to learn. It was a gift that made him what I would call a quiet leader. I never saw Eitan ask or demand others' attention. I saw Eitan do, and others follow. I saw Eitan jump into a presentation, a song, or an act out in Hebrew situation, and others drew courage from his willingness to put himself out there. I so admired that quality in him. We are blessed to have known Eitan. I am blessed to have known Eitan. Eitan strove for success and growth in his schoolwork. In Hebrew, he reached a level where he could converse and function in various situations, even with native speakers. Years of dedicated studies gave him that ability. Eitan approached learning with a cheerful willingness, always engaged, always willing to participate, always positive. Eitan's love of sports was infectious. He and I were Saints buddies. Monday classes following a game weekend was our time to cheer in the face of those who dared to cheer for another team, or to shake our heads over another loss. We loved to talk about New Orleans and share our experiences and our favorite places. Eitan knew the importance of balance between school, friends, community, and interests outside school. So many of us responded to his call for funds for the JDC to help Ukraine. Our classroom tzedakah box filled rapidly when the class voted to earmark those funds to Eitan's initiative. Again, quiet, simple, powerful leadership. Eitan connected to so many people. We feel his loss deeply, profoundly, and are grateful that we shared time with him. He touched us all, and we will carry with him in our hearts always. Eitan was part of a deeply loving family, his loving parents and brother and extended family. They exude non-judgmental support and unconditional love. We are blessed to have known your Eitan. I am blessed to have known your Eitan. And with that blessing comes responsibility, comes a charge to continue the qualities by which Eitan lived. And we pledge to him and his family to be sweet and kind, work towards goals, approach life with joy, be a role model and a leader, act on our beliefs, act on behalf of the Jewish community, act on behalf of others in need. We miss Eitan Yefeh HaNefesh, Eitan of a beautiful soul, dearly. May Eitan's memory, his life, his joy, be a blessing to all of us. Yehi zichro baruch.
Thank you, Maura Parmet. What moving words to hear about the impact Eitan would have on his teachers and the faculty members around the building. So I'm going to share a little bit about the impact Eitan had with me. I'd known Eitan since I was in kindergarten, and he always had this unbelievable character, but there's one trait of his that popped out to me the most that I'd like to discuss. Eitan was the embodiment of passion and energy. He had this unmatched energy that he displayed in all he did. He walked around with his loud voice and used it to express his emotions. With good intentions, Eitan always told you how he felt. He would either share his strong encouragement and support of what you were doing and or thinking, or he would respectfully disagree. Now, Eitan didn't disagree with someone just to tear them down. Rather, he would do so to positively challenge his peers and encourage them to grow. There's a particular story in mind I'd like to share. About 2 years ago, Eitan caught me in the halls listening to some music. He asked me what I was listening to, and we spoke for a bit. He asked me about a particular artist. I told him I wasn't interested in that, just not my kind of music. He said, all right, come on. So he grabs my AirPods. He said, all right, connect real quick. So we each plug in an AirPod, and he starts playing a song. And by the end of the song, I said, well, what'd you think? I said, not too bad. And he said, all right, well, I'm going to give you a list of songs. I want you to come back in the next week or so and have listened to most of them. So I listened to these 5 to 10 songs, and I come back and I said, man, Eitan, I really like this artist. And he truly challenged me. Again, I was not open-minded. I wasn't happy when he originally asked me to listen to this song. I was not in a great mood. He was like, come on, just listen, give it a try. Now today, 2 years later, my favorite artist is Lil Uzi Vert, who Eitan introduced me to. And for the next year or so, he and I all the time would be talking about stuff. And I still remember last year, all fall, we were talking about Red and White, his new album. And surely it was weird over the summer when he dropped a new album and I didn't have Eitan to talk to. I wish I could, hear his opinion, hear what he had to say, listen to it, appreciate it, criticize it. Whatever it is he had to say, I'm sure it was valuable. Part of his passion was a strong sense of believing in someone or something. When Eitan bought into something, he was locked in. He was a believer with a vision. With this vision, he was pretty fearless, never backing down from an obstacle. His strength was incredible. I hope we can all learn from Eitan and his personal story. How can we be those passionate individuals constantly striving for greatness? Eitan always looked to better himself. He never sat still. He was never a bystander. He didn't believe in complacency. Eitan was always getting better. And whatever that looked like, school, sports, friends, relationships, whatever it was, Eitan was always trying to be better. And that's something I hope we can all learn from him. Let us take Eitan's sense of strength and passion and be confident individuals, keeping his memory with us every step of our journeys. Be a force for good. May Eitan's memory be a blessing, and may his legacy live on forever. Thank you. Rabbi Horowitz.
Okay, ask everyone to rise for El Malei Rachamim, which is a memorial prayer, but one, while reflecting as we've been today, also enables us to feel one's the spirit and the power of one's life even after they have passed on. And we'll honor Eitan in this way, first in Hebrew and then in English. El malei rachamim shochen b'mromim hamsei menucha nechona al kanfei hashchina b'malot kadoshim u'tohorim kazohar harakia mazhirim et nishmat Eitan Palu ben Gedalia Daniel v'Sara Zisel shehalach l'olamo bavor shenadvu tzedakah b'ad haskarat nishmato began Eden tehei menuchato lachen va'al rachamim yastirehu beseter knafav l'olamim v'yisror b'yisror hachayim et nishmato Adonai hu nachlato v'yanuach v'shalom al mishkavo v'nomar amen. May the source of mercy, God, who dwells above, provide a sure rest on the wings of God's divine presence among all of those who are holy and pure, who shine as brightly as the sky. To the soul of our beloved Eitan Force, son of Sarah and Seth, brother of Asher, who has passed over to eternity. And keeping in mind the righteous acts in his name, let his rest be in the Garden of Eden. And we ask that the source of all mercy shade Eitan forever with that protection and bind him within the realm of eternal life. God is his heritage and his soul, while remaining strong amongst us, should know peace forever. And to that we should say, Amen. We'll be finishing up the service now and call back Rabbi Meir to lead us on Aleinu. And then when we return to the little booklet after Aleinu, we'll have the opportunity to say the Mourner's Kaddish. Although that is generally the custom of direct family members, a number of our sources throughout rabbinic literature teach us that an entire community, when we are in need of consolation and also in desire to remember and to remember a life as important and meaningful as Eitan's, that we have the opportunity to be able to come together and recite the Mourner's Kaddish on the day of a Yartzeit. And so we'll invite anyone who would choose to rise to do so. We'll stay rising after we chant the Aleinu, and then move right into the Mourner's Kaddish at the bottom of that last page.
Page 4. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateh gdula leyotzei breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haaretzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהוא נוטה שמיים מייסד הארץ ומשף יקרוב השמיים, עמנו שכינה תוזר בגבים הרבים עליהם. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
Bottom of the page, Mourner's Kaddish, the bottom 198.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דברה חירותי, ימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר, ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, אמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
So we can all take a seat for just one moment, last moment. First, we yishar koach to Rabbi Meir for leading us, as always, so beautifully in tefillah, and to express a special appreciation to Ronnie for being our rabbi this afternoon. As he is so often in so many important ways around school, and in organizing this part of the program, and for sharing your heart and your words and around Eitan's Torah. To Dean and Mason, what more can there be said, speaking from the heart, but also from powerful memory, and memories to which we can all relate, and which are so important and mean so much to us. And Mora Parmet, I will often say the teacher's teacher and the rabbi's rabbi, showed again today why understanding why Eitan would turn to you for so much teaching and so much guidance throughout his life, and why all of us turn to you in that regard, given your wisdom and the heart and the love that you shared today on behalf of our faculty and staff and our entire community. And two last points. One, again, is an appreciation to all of you, all of us, for coming together today to make this afternoon. I'd like to give a particular recognition and shout out. I see some members of the class of 2023 who made the point of being able to come and join us today who do live locally. And we know that there are many more members of the class of 2023 of Eitan's class who are joining by live stream and or by recording at a later point. And your presence is not only known and felt, but so deeply appreciated, all the more so today. And also an appreciation to all of our broader community, some of who came to visit today, but many more who are live streaming, members of Eitan's family and friends throughout the United States. The last piece we're going to take part in today, that some of us may have experienced before, depending on our own family and cultural customs, some of us may not, is a Sudan of the Nechamot. There's a custom in which actually after a Haskara, that there be some food, but not merely for the point of celebration or just having a snack, for the purpose of consolation. And although we have a full afternoon and are not going to be eating let's say a complete meal, we want to express appreciation to Ms. Klingensmith for so artfully and creatively, as she always does, and with her own thoughts for Eitan this day in mind, in ordering a series of cookies, red velvet cookies, with the color and I guess probably the flavor we know that the Eitan would particularly appreciate, representing an extra bit of his spirit, his favorite colors, which we'll be noting again next week, next Thursday at the game that I referenced earlier. So really, with all that in mind, we'll say thank you. And again, in thinking of Eitan today on his first Yartzeit, we say Zichrono Livracha. For our Eitan force, that his memory should always be for a blessing, and his the force of his spirit remains strong and present with us as we all go forward. So have a wonderful rest of the day, and thank you very much. And if I could ask if you either leave the sheet on your seat or if you would bring them up and put them on the pile here on the piano, that'd be helpful to collecting them. Thank you again.